Well, good Friday afternoon, New York Jet fans and NFL fans. It is October 13th, 2022, 2:05 p.m., and we are about 6 hours and 15 minutes away from Week 6 kicking off in Chicago, where the Washington Commanders go to play the Chicago Bears. Um, just quickly, news coming out this morning. Daniel Snyder says he has dirt on the NFL and on other owners. Um, I just don't know what it could be. Maybe tonight, if you have Amazon Prime, you'll be able to watch the game and get some of information on that. Like I said last week, if you had Amazon Prime, I'm sorry because you got to watch that boring game. Tonight may be a little bit of a better game. Washington, I'm watching NFL Network right now, is 1-4. Chicago 2-3. Um, you know, there's just so much going on in Washington. When I grew up, I remember 70s and 80s. Um, Washington was always that NFC East bully against the Giants and against the Eagles. RFK, the stands going up and down. Art Monk, Joe Theismann, what have you. And the last 15, 20 years, just hasn't been the same. But anyway, the Commanders go to Chicago tonight for Thursday Night Football. They start off Week 6. Also, for those of you who also follow other sports in the tri-state area, the New York area, Rangers open up on Tuesday. They won. I believe they're playing tonight. Islanders open up at home tonight. Their season opener. The Yankees and the Cleveland Guardians Game 2 playoff game has been postponed until tomorrow, Friday. I believe they said 1:15 at Yankee Stadium. So what that does is instead of they couldn't move the game earlier or a day earlier, meaning yesterday. Um, the game was canceled this afternoon or early this morning, maybe about 11:15. I'd say early afternoon, um, before noon or whatever you want to call it. And they said tomorrow 1:15 in the Bronx. If it's a normal game, normal inning game, obviously it's a playoff game. It's not a normal game. Maybe the game ends between 4:30, 5 o'clock. Then it is a travel to Cleveland, and then there will be no days off in between the rest of the game. So they're off today due to the rain. So they're off 2 days. They play tomorrow afternoon, Saturday, if necessary, Sunday, and then, if necessary, Monday back at the stadium, all traveling. I believe, after the games, especially tomorrow, and I'm guessing Sunday's going to probably be a mid-afternoon game as well. So that's what we are with the Yankees and hockey. So let's talk NFL. Um, Sauce Gardner gets to be Defensive Rookie Player of the Week. Um, he, of course, on the first play of the game versus the Dolphins, knocked Bridgewater out. You never want to see anybody get hurt. Had his first sack, caused a safety on it because it had Bridgewater throwing the ball while in the pocket. So it was intentional grounding. And got his first interception. So congratulations to Sauce. Hopefully that's the first of many, and hopefully there are bigger awards and more achievements for yourself and for the team. Uh, so the Giants faced the Green Bay Packers in London last week, and like I said, the Giants beat them. There was a diverse crowd, but you always have a large amount of Packer fans. First thing is, and you got to laugh, the Giants punter, as of yesterday, was still stuck in London due to passport issues. I'm not sure if he got out of London yet. Also, there was a report this morning that Aaron Rodgers had a problem with one of his fingers. He said it's nothing. He's good to go. He's 100%. You look at this game before the season, and you say, even if Zach is playing, in Lambeau, Aaron Rodgers, just just too strong. The Lambeau crowd, the home field advantage. Then, as the season starts, and again, 3 weeks ago, we're already looking at new coaching staffs possibly coming in. Is Zach the guy? Quentin Williams overrated. I mean, you had a lot going on. You had the receipts comment. You had the defensive coach talking about Quentin Williams, and in the past 2 weeks after that, you have Zach starting, come back win against the Steelers. Zach's home opener last week, on blowout of the Dolphins, Quinnen getting the fumble recovery, knocking Tyreek Hill out of the way, and everybody seems to be happy. It's funny. You know, message boards and call-in shows have going from Saleh being the worst coach and Joe Douglas being the worst GM and Zach Wilson being a bust to, hey, we can maybe make a run. Um, I don't like to look ahead, but I will say this. Next three games is at Green Bay, at Denver, at New England. Connor Hughes yesterday, who I forgot who he writes for, said if the Jets could take two out of those three, they should be playoff bound. I'm not going to say anything because I've seen this team in the past, and other teams just need to win one game over the course of 3 weeks and couldn't do it. So we're going to take one game at a time. They go to Lambeau. Listen, it's not Lambeau in late November, December, January. It's Lambeau in middle of October. Will it be breezy? Probably. Could it be a little bit, colder than over here in New York, New Jersey? Yeah, but you're not going to have that frozen tundra. You're not going to have that cold. Tom Coughlin red face on the sidelines. The field may be tilted more evenly, the playing field. That being said, you're still playing against Aaron Rodgers, a Hall of Famer. And there are a lot of other scenarios, a lot of other, people, and sometimes I do this, like to read more into things. So you have, Saleh and LaFleur, good friends, the head coach of the Packers. Of course, Mike and Matt, head coach of the Packers, offensive coordinator for the Jets, brothers, played each other. And it's not the first time they played each other, but, first time when they're on the Jets. Zach Wilson, who idolized Aaron Rodgers. The young corner in Sauce against the wide receivers on the Packers. There's a lot going on. Jets coming off 2 games in a row. You know what that is? That's a winning streak. You start putting those together and things start to come around. So, we are set to go to Lambeau. The victory celebration lasted 24 hours, just like when you lose. What I did read today, which I thought was great, 2 things. One I read yesterday, and one of it was one of the reporters went around and spoke to people in the Jet building, the facility in Florham Park, and said, is Sunday the reason why you traded up to get Breece Hall? Or what was the reason why? And one of the responses from somebody, he didn't say if it was a coach or not, said, you'll see. That just to me tells me that Sunday was just the first step. A mere snapshot of what we can see from this guy. And hopefully for many years to come. The second thing was Dwayne Brown had a guaranteed contract. I would be lying if I said I knew what it was. I think it was around $9 million guaranteed. He could have sat out the rest of the season, got paid, and not played. And he said he told the coaches, well, it's been reported that he told the coaches, it wasn't from him, he's not going out like that. I'll be back. And now he's back in the lineup for the second week in a row. It'll be this week. So they want to play for this team. And I haven't seen that in many years. The 2015 team seemed to have liked playing together with Brandon Marshall, Bilal Powell, Fitzpatrick. Also, I think the teams the first few years on the Rex, you saw people coming here. Bart Scott with Rex knocked on his door at midnight as soon as free agency started. Jason Taylor came over, who just hated the Jets. And I'll do a shout out to Jason Taylor. My cousin Richie said, don't forget he was on Dancing with the Stars also. So Jason Taylor played for the Dolphins, the Jets, and Dancing with the Stars. I'm trying to think what else. But you can see that people are excited about being here. Somebody else said something about Zach, like that's him. It's not an anomaly. This is him. He's just talented. We shall see. 2 games this season. He's played officially 16 regular season games. So over the course of 2 years, he's played the equivalent to 1 season. That is a very small sample size. But so far, so good this year. He's 2-0 this year when he starts. Got to keep him upright. Got to keep him clean. Got to keep that running game going. Uh, so that's where we are now. I usually do a history of these two teams, and I'm going to be honest, there really isn't much that I remember. I've only been to, well, I'll go back to this game. It's pre Aaron Rodgers. It's 2002. It is between Christmas and New Year's. I forgot the date. I think it was like December 29th or whatever it was. And the Jets under Herm Edwards and Chad Pennington leading the way had a great season going through. And then they had some stumbles and Chad got injured and whatnot. And going into the final week of the season, you had, I believe it was Cincinnati or Cleveland playing, I forgot which scenario it was. And then the Dolphins in Foxborough. This is in 2002, so it was probably Gillette. And you had the Jets home for the Packers. Jets had the 4:15 game. If, I believe Cleveland won the game or whatever it was, I forgot who it was had to win, the Jets would get the wild card. If Cleveland lost, then the Jets' only hope was to win the division. So we drive to the game, and of course we get there early, and we're tailgating, and we're sitting there. TV's on, and we're watching the two early games. And in the wild card game that we're watching, we're doing well. The team that we need to win is winning. In the Miami New England game, they're just not, it's not falling our way. I actually believe, I want to say the Patriots were down big. The first final comes in, and now the Jets' only chance is to win the AFC East because they can't get the wild card. So the parking lot now is packed, and you have Packer fans, you have Jet fans, but all the Packer fans are in the stadium. The Jet fans are still out in the car because this game either means everything or means nothing. And sitting there now, the Patriot Dolphin game is not on TV, so we have the radio on. And with that, the Dolphins and Patriots, I believe, are tied. And then I want to say, and again, I'm doing this from memory because it was 20 years ago, Adam Vinatieri kicks a field goal, just barely gets it over the upright. And the stadium, Giant Stadium, the old Meadowlands, erupts. We're outside. Honking horns, people are running up and down. We lock up, close everything, grab our tickets. Now we're rushing in, and we get into the game about 5 minutes into the first quarter. And usually that's not us. Whether the game means something that they're 3-12 or they're 9-6 and looking for a playoff spot, we're usually there, if not for warm-ups, right after warm-ups. So we get in there late, and the place is rocking, and now AFC East is on the line. And now we're playing Green Bay, we're playing Brett Favre. And everything the Jets did just clicked. And I can still remember sitting there, and the day before the Giants had played that game there on Saturday, and they needed to beat, I believe, the Eagles to get to the playoffs, and they won. The field was a mess. It was a grass field back then. You had, both teams playing a minimum of 10 games on the field. This was game 20 coming up. And I remember there was a little screen pass, a little bubble screen to Richie Anderson, and he takes it like 76 yards for a touchdown down the sideline. And then it's Lavernius Coles for a touchdown. And then it's Wayne Krebet, just nobody near him. And before you know it, Favre is getting sacked. Favre is overthrowing. Favre is underthrowing. I do think just before the half, Favre throws a touchdown pass. But in the end, it was a blowout. It wasn't even close. The place erupted. fireworks going off. The second AFC East championship the Jets ever won. The one previous to that was 4 years earlier, in 1998, under Parcells, and they beat the Green Bay Packers, who were, they were a powerhouse with Favre, and they beat Brett Favre in 2002, who was still, still young at his age. He still wasn't, that the older Brett Favre, the dinged up Brett Favre. Yes, he was banged up. He had his shots taken, but it was still Brett Favre in pretty much his prime, and just amazing because, first of all, to see Brett Favre in person and see him sling the ball before he was a Jet, because I did see him in person that way, when he was on the Packers, and just the way the Jet defense and the Jet offense clicked, and I mean, there were just points where, Corbett was making his cut, the ball was in the air, Pennington hit him, and they walked in. And just a great game all around, and probably one of the loudest I ever heard the stadium. And it was a great time. And I remember going home that night and, going out afterwards to get something to eat and just talking about, we're going to the playoffs the following week. And I believe we're going to, we were hosting the Colts the following week. And, just a great time. So that's probably one of the best Green Bay Packer recollections I have against the Jets. Yes, we played them a couple of years back at MetLife with Sam Darnold, but Aaron Rodgers didn't play. He was injured towards the end of the season. We played them under Rex on Halloween in 2010, and we lost 9-0 on a few questionable calls by the refs. And then I remember going to Lambeau under Mangini and beating them in Lambeau, and it was just, I believe it was snowing, and then Chris Baker was out there without a shirt on, and then I believe it was in 2000 under Al Groh, we beat them opening day in Green Bay. But the one that stands out the most, because I was at the game, was that 2002 game. So, that's some history between the Jets and the Packers. Of course, when you look at the history of the teams, you have the trophies named after Vince Lombardi, the coach of the Packers. You have the Lambeau Leap, the Frozen Tundra, Bart Starr, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. And then in the AFC side, the Jets side, you have Weeb and Joe Namath and Super Bowl III and the guarantee. But the Packers, to me, are NFL royalty. They've been there from the beginning, and the history is just amazing. And yes, they had lean years, but they are still the Packers, and it's still Aaron Rodgers. But before I make my picks for the Jet Packer game, I'm going to look at some other picks. And right now, there's a little primitive. This will change. I'm going to try to do some graphics and whatnot. But right now, we have the Carolina Panthers going to the Los Angeles Rams. The Panthers are getting 10 points. Baker Mayfield is done for at least 2 weeks or so. I believe Sam Darnold starts. Carolina getting 10 points. Doesn't even come close. I think the Rams win 35-10, and the Rams cover. Seattle hosting the Cardinals. Cardinals getting 3. I was never a Geno Smith fan. Even before we drafted him, the day of the draft, I didn't want him. He seems to be playing a little bit better. I do think that Seattle is a better team than the Cardinals. And 3 points, I think that, Seattle covers big time. I think they win 24-13, Seattle over the Cards. 4 o'clock. So after the Giants and Jets are all over, and hopefully the Yankees don't even have to play Sunday, you have Buffalo and Kansas City, a rematch of the playoff game last year, that Buffalo was up, and then Kansas City came back with like 53 seconds left to tie it, and then won it on their only possession in overtime and whatnot. Buffalo on the road is giving 2.5 points, which means they're probably favored by at least 5. Buffalo is high flying. KC has found themselves falling behind in just about every game and then coming back. I think this game they keep pace. I don't think they fall behind. I think it's one-on-one. I do not think Buffalo covers the spread. KC 28, Buffalo 27. Buffalo's giving 2.5, so they don't cover. So you You pick KC, either way, you're winning with the spread or without. Sunday night, Dallas at Philly. What a matchup. If you're a Dallas fan, you want to see, if this is it, if your quarterback, I mean, if they win this game, I don't even think you look at Prescott unless something happens. And I believe Dak was at practice today, but he hasn't been cleared to play yet. That was a report I heard earlier. Philly, only undefeated team. Sunday night, you know it's going to be crazy at the link. Dallas fans travel well. Philly fans travel well. They do not mix well. Ugh. But I just think Philadelphia right now is the best team in the NFC. I won't say the NFL yet, but I think the NFC. Dallas is getting 6.5. And they're showing that the odds makers are showing a lot of respect to Philly because Dallas is 4-1, Philly is 5-0, but you're talking 6.5, less than a touchdown, but more than a field goal. It's 2 field goals. I gotta say, I agree. I believe Philly wins. They cover. They win 28-17. So now let's talk about our Jets, Jets. Like I said, they travel to Lambeau. I don't see this game being a blowout. Early in the season, I would have seen this game really not being a contest. I don't see it that way now. I hope that I am not proven wrong. The Jets are getting 7. I get it. You have this basic rookie QB. They're 3-2. They beat Pittsburgh, that's hurting. They beat Miami, that's hurting. They beat Cleveland, that's hurting. Basically 2 out of the 3 wins could have been losses. They could be 1-4. But if your record is what your record is, they're 3-2. I think if I'm betting with my heart, my head, I take the Jets in the 7. I don't think. I think it's a very close game. Betting with my heart. If Salah is the guy and gets them going, and the receipts and gets them motivated, and Zach and Brees and Sauce and everybody, this young core of a team, which is great. If they can grow together, this would be wonderful. Could play like they've been playing the past 2 weeks, this past week, and keep it going, and open up the playbook more, and utilize all the players. I think the Jets can win out. I think they win 24-20. So those are my picks. I have the Rams -10. I have Seattle -3. I have Philly -6. I have KC -2.5, and I have the Jets getting 7. But I think the Jets have a great chance to win out. We are to take off. Please, if you're going out to Lambeau, let us know what it was like. Send us your pictures. Send us video. Did you tailgate? How long did you stay? How was the Lambeau crowd? I heard the fans at Lambeau are awesome. You can reach us at Twitter. At the Jets Takeoff is our Twitter handle. You can email us at thejetstakeoff@gmail.com is our email address. Of course, this video, please subscribe to it. Please forward it to people. Please retweet it. We're trying to get more and more participation. We're trying to make this be a fan site for the fans to interact, not just calling up these radio shows and bitching and complaining or being unrealistic or arguing with the radio host. Just a place where fans can be fans and speak. So reach out to us, The Takeoff on YouTube. Please subscribe. You can also Google that. You can Google my name, Alex Parziali. And there's also a Facebook group called The Takeoff. So have a great Thursday. I know I usually do this during the Thursday night game or Friday morning, scheduling conflict. So we'll leave it at that. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. Stay healthy. Have a blessed weekend, However you say it, blessed, whatever. I don't know who likes to say what. But enjoy. And hopefully Monday we are speaking about the continuance of the Jet wins. Take care and let's go Jets.